school and high school students will be starting a little bit later. Reaction and details coming up.
Plus, masks are back on in the San Diego Unified School District, and some parents are pushing back.
A bill moving through the U.S. Congress hopes to save the giant sequoias of California.
Comic-Con is just a few days away. I'll tell you what you can expect.
And the sixth-ranked donut shop in America. A Yelp review we had to take a bite out.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts right now.
The start of the new school year is right around the corner, and for most middle and high schoolers, that could mean getting a little more sleep. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Jesse Pagan, in for Marcella Lee. A new state law now requires middle school start no earlier than 8 a.m. For high school, it's 8:30. CBS 8's Shannon Handy shows us why some parents and students are having mixed reactions.
Governor Newsom signed this law back in 2019. It went into effect July 1st. Now, while some are applauding the move, saying it's good for students' health, others say it will create a logistical nightmare.
Always. Every day was a hard day to get up.
Jordan Pickney says he's felt the negative effects of early start times during his time at Castle Park High School. But when the new year starts this Wednesday, the soon-to-be senior is anticipating some positive changes.
It would be harder to wake up early in the morning and get to school because my mom works the night shift and she gets off at 6. So she would have to rush home. Due to me showing up to school late consistently, unfortunately, I got a D in my citizenship grade. Hopefully, that would eliminate that.
As of July 1st, under state law, high schools in California can't start any earlier than 8:30. For middle school, it's 8 o'clock. It's a big win for the Start School Later movement, which has been pushing districts to adjust their daily calendars for decades.
This is a public health issue because the sleep deprivation in teens is really at epidemic levels.
Joy Wake, Start School Later's policy and advocacy director, says sleep deprivation can lead to depression, learning loss, and attendance issues. But many parents argue a later start time is not only tough to manage with work schedules, extracurricular activities will be impacted as well. On Facebook, one parent wrote, "My kids will just go to bed later, and getting them to school for the working class just became a nightmare." Another said, "Seems good in theory, but doesn't go well for kids in sports. Everything just gets pushed later." Poway Unified spokesperson Christine Peck understands parents' frustrations. She too has had to navigate the changes, which in the Poway district will impact some elementary start times too.
We only have so many buses, and so we have 3 tiers of busing schedules. And that's why when we're changing the middle and high school times, the elementary times are being affected as well.
Not only that, but staffing is also an issue.
Now, high school students cannot staff our after-school programs, and so we are so short-staffed that for the first time ever, we're having to turn families away.
Peck says schools are working on solutions for families and students, including offering 0 periods and opening up campus early if possible. In the meantime, she asked for patience as yet another change takes effect.
Hopefully, the law has its intended effect, but we'll have to see.
Rural districts as well as private schools are exempt from this new law. Meanwhile, similar legislation is being proposed in other states. For CBS 8, I'm Shannon Handy.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Meantime, right now, students and staff at San Diego Unified Schools are required to wear masks indoors again because San Diego County is in the CDC's highest COVID transmission level. But some parents are fighting back. They held a rally today to protest the new mandate. The county entered the high-risk level Thursday after a rise in cases. SDUSD says it reinstated its mandate to prevent COVID spread and keep teachers and students in class. But some parents still say masking hurts kids already behind because of school closures and virtual learning.
What we saw with the Omicron surge in January was high rates of student absences and staff absences. And that is obviously very disruptive.
Masking has been proven to harm social and linguistic academic development.
Right now, there's no state or county mandate. A San Diego youth hockey coach and substitute teacher is in jail tonight facing federal child pornography charges. The FBI says Dan Dasko and a teacher in Philadelphia exchanged more than 3,600 messages, pictures, and videos over the span of 1 year. Dasko coached 2 teams for the San Diego Ice Arena Oilers for kids 12 to 13 years old. The Oilers say they removed him from all their programs and notified parents. Meantime, the president of the San Diego Hockey Club says he isn't aware of any incidents involving kids at the San Diego Ice Arena.
Defense attorneys are fighting efforts to try a teenager as an adult in the murder of Carlsbad hiker Lisa Thorborg back in 2020. The defendant, Haloa Baudet, is now 18 years old, but the case is still in juvenile court. As CBS 8's David Goffredson reports, a hearing is set for next month where a judge will decide whether to transfer the case to adult court.
The judge allowed CBS 8 into juvenile court Monday, where a future hearing was announced to determine whether to try 18-year-old Haloa Baudet as an adult. He's charged with murdering Carlsbad hiker 68-year-old Lisa Thorborg more than a year and a half ago by stabbing her twice in the neck along a trail in Hosp Grove in November 2020. We were ordered to tile the teenager's face in court, but this is a mugshot of Baudet taken 2 years ago, released by Hawaii police in 2020 when the teenager went missing from a boarding school in Hilo, Hawaii. In court Monday, the judge confirmed a future court hearing will be held on August 22nd to determine whether Baudet should be tried as an adult. The judge said the hearing could last 10 days with witnesses being called, including an investigator working for his defense team. Prosecutors say Baudet's DNA was found on the victim's shorts, and surveillance photos show the defendant in the area shortly after the murder happened. Other photos from hidden cameras showed him on the same trail days later. During a preliminary hearing in 2020, the teenager's grandmother testified he was a sweet boy with no history of owning weapons.
Easygoing, loving, respectful. Everybody that has met him always say what a nice, polite young man that he is.
But prosecutors say while living in Oregon, Baudet was suspended from school multiple times for fighting.
Now, I stood up in juvenile court today and I asked the judge whether she thought cameras would be allowed in juvenile court during that 10-day hearing coming up in August. She said she did not know because the entire hearing is being transferred to a different juvenile court judge to make that decision.
And David, the district attorney's office here clearly wants him tried as an adult. What factors will the judge take into consideration at this hearing coming up in August?
The judge will consider the seriousness of the crime, the age of the teen when he allegedly committed the crime, the criminal history will be considered, the sophistication of the crime, and whether the judge believes the teenager can be rehabilitated.
All right, David Goffredson reporting live for us. Thanks, David. Tonight, a teenage girl from Lakeside is on trial in juvenile court for an alleged hate crime attack. She appeared in court this morning. Investigators say the 15-year-old was part of a group of teens that attacked another teen girl back in April. They say a 16-year-old boy yelled racial slurs as he stabbed the victim in the back. This all happened near the victim's home on Mapleview Street. Activists rallied outside the court in support of the victim this morning. They're calling for justice and say there was an adult involved in the attack that has not been charged. One of two men who set off a pipe bomb at a hotel in Kearney Mesa has learned his fate. 30-year-old Hans Sarda faces 2 years in jail instead of state prison. He and Grover Everett pleaded guilty to 3 felony explosive charges after setting off a pipe bomb at the 4 Points on Sheraton on Arrow Drive back in February. Everett's also expected to face a 2-year jail sentence. His sentencing is next week. The 2 men avoided state prison by accepting a plea deal.
Right now, you're looking at surveillance video showing a burglary in a Chula Vista home. Police detectives say it was part of a pair of burglaries in the Rolling Hills Ranch neighborhood this past Friday. At least 3 people were involved, and they drove a red Lexus RX. This is video from inside the home one of the victims shared with us. She says the burglars stole $250,000 in cash and pepper sprayed her Pomeranians.
But now I don't feel safe no more. I cannot sleep. Every time I see a car passing by in my front yard, I just panic.
Investigators are asking for your help. They ask anyone living along Range Gate Road or Via Maggiore to look at security cameras and look for that red Lexus RX. Meantime, tonight investigators are looking into what started a fire at a car salvage yard in Oceanside this morning. It broke out at Ecology Auto Wrecking Yard on West Airport Road near Bennett Hill Road around 7 a.m. Firefighters put it out quickly, as you can see there. There was property damage, but no reports of anyone being hurt.